Welcome to the Live the Experience podcast. Hi, my name is Lenny and I'm your host. Welcome back to a new episode of the Live the Experience podcast. It has been some time since we released new episodes, but now I'm back from my holidays and I'm so excited to share new, inspiring stories with you every Monday. I'm very curious to see from which part of the world you are joining us. So take a screenshot when you're listening to this episode, add your location and tag our Instagram account. You can find a link to our account in the show notes. Now let's talk about today's episode. I invited Aqsa to join me for a conversation. Aqsa is from Pakistan and she went for 7 months to Egypt to do an internship. Back at home, she never had to worry about anything. In her own words, she was spoiled. So she took the bold step to go out of her comfort zone and left for Egypt. In Egypt, she taught English to small children. This journey allowed her to learn a lot about herself and discover her skills to empower others. I hope you enjoy this new episode and don't forget to share with us in your stories where in the world you are listening to this podcast. Talk to you after the episode. So, you're a girl from Pakistan. How did your life look like before you went on your internship in Egypt?
Oh my God. It's the question that a lot of people have been asking me before. I was that kind of child who was like gold phone sped, okay? And totally my things were like being done by the maids, and my mom is like cooking stuff for me, and the driver is picking me up and dropping me to the college and stuff. But when I like getting out from my comfort, because that was basically my comfort zone, and this was my life back in my country, and when I'm like flying for Egypt and facing a total different culture, facing a lot of difficulties, I had to do stuff on my own. I was cleaning the dishes on my own. I was doing the laundry on my own. I even had to travel on my own. So it was really hard for me to, look for a public transport in a place where I don't even know the language. I cannot even communicate with the people. Okay, and I have no idea what I'm going to do and how am I going to survive there.
So, what feelings, what went through your mind the first day you came to Egypt and everything is so new and all of a sudden you're on your own and you have to do all these things on your own, complete new experience for you. What went through your mind then?
Okay, so basically when I landed, I had no SIM card, okay, and I did not even know how do I have to communicate with the person who is like there to pick me up. And I waited for that person, okay, and I'm like straight out from the airport, and I'm waiting for him, and my fingers are crossed, and I was like, oh my God, what if he's not here, and what if he's not picking me up? I don't even know the language. How I'm going to go to the hostel? How I'm going to meet the people? How am I like even going to contact my parents? What I'm going to do? I was like so nervous, and I was like, oh gosh, please help me. And I was like so like my face was like a tomato, okay, and I was not blushing, but I was nervous. I was super nervous because it was the first experience that I'm going to have in a different country, basically in a different language country, because I've been traveling before, okay, but in Egypt it was totally different because of the language, okay, and it was really hard for me that I will be living in a place where I don't even know the people. I don't even know the language. So how am I going to cope up with the people? How am I going to, get indulged with the people? How am I was having that feeling that what if the guy doesn't show up? So how am I going to the hostel? I don't even know anyone.
Yeah, and then you also you sign up for a 7 month internship, right? So that's also a
Yeah.
long time. So I bet you also thought, wow, I'm going to be 7 months here, and what if it stays like this the whole 7 month? So how did it evolve over the entire experience, the 7 month?
Well, basically when I did not see the guy who was about to pick me up. I did not see him, and I was like, oh shit, I'm busted. I don't even know what I have to do. I am going to, how am I going to live in this country for 7 months when I am not even, I don't even know where I have to go. So, but when, it was like I am in a desert, okay, and I don't have a water, and I'm like, I have to quench my thirst and I need the water. It was the same situation with me when I was at the airport, okay. But when I saw the guy who came to pick me up, I was like, oh my God, God gave me another life. Oh, I was so excited. I was super happy. I was super happy. And eventually, when I get along with the Isaacers, and when I get along with the new people in Egypt, I made friends. I get along with the people. I was coping up with the environments and doing every single stuff there. It made me, a sense of a feeling in myself that I am here for some reason, and I have to give up my thoughts. I was being like spoon fed before, so I don't want to be spoon fed here. I want to face this life as a challenge because I can do it no matter what my life was back in my country, and I am in a different country, so it's not going to last with me forever because I have to do things on my own. I have to do stuff on my own. So I took it as a challenge. So it made me overcome it.
What have you learned from this when you look back?
There are a lot of things that I learned. The first thing that I learned from this experience was being patient. Because whensoever, even when I used to go for shopping and I'm with my mom and I was like, Mom, I need this, I want that, I want to grab all the stuff that I have, because I was not patient at all. But when I went to this opportunity and I had to face a lot of stuff, I had to face a lot of difficulties. Patience is the thing that you have to have in you. If you don't have patience, you cannot, cope up with the difficulties. You will always be negative, even though I'm not saying that I was totally positive every single time and stuff. Though I was negative, okay, I used to have negative thoughts that what if like this is not happening, so it might be the cause of something and stuff, a lot of things and hurdles coming in your mind and stuff. Being patient made me a lot more positive, that I have to look towards something in a positive way. No matter what you do, if you are not positive, you cannot succeed, because you are going to see things in a different perspective, which are going to turn into a disaster. So positivity and patience are the things that I got into me, and like I was being indulged with them and stuff.
Interesting, yeah. Then let's talk a little bit about culture, because I'm very interested in the cultural difference experience you went through.
Okay.
How was the Egyptian culture a big difference to the culture you were embracing in Pakistan?
So it's not that, not that different, but there are a few stuff, as there are a lot of Muslim people living in Egypt too, and I am also a Muslim, and Pakistani is, Islamic Republic of Pakistan. So the culture, talking to people, indulging to people, is I was being welcomed with this kind of structure from the people there. I was really embraced with that, and I was really happy and joyful. They were helping me with the stuff, and even when I was taking the transport, you like, though they did not know English language, but they were still helping me out with the stuff, that if I need this and the. In Pakistan, it's the same, but a little. They respect women a lot, and a little conservative type of stuff. Even though my country is really broad and stuff, and they do even help foreigners, and the image is really good and stuff, you're going on with the things and stuff. But in Egypt, it was totally different. They were super friendly, okay, they were super, joyful and happy. I was having a feeling of like that I am in my home and stuff. The first 2 months were like, I was devastated, and I had negative thoughts, and I was like desensitized and stuff. But then getting along and moving along with the stuff, it was really good. It was all because of the people living there, and I was like being friends with them, a lot of good friends, and I was hanging out and stuff. So the culture was, not that much different, but a slight different, because the people were different there. And I was living in a Muslim community, so like I'm also from a Muslim community, so it was, somehow somewhat 50-50. It was okay, so far so good.
How about the language then?
Okay, language was a big issue, as I told you that. And language barrier, I had to learn the basic stuff there. In my country, we have the same alphabets, Okay, so Egyptian people have the language which is called as Arabic. Okay, so they have the same alphabets. A little or more, like, you can say two or three alphabets are missing from their, what do you call it, that alphabet structure. But it was easy for me to read the Arabic language, okay, because we have the same alphabets. But trying to understand that language and trying to, speak was, a sort of a hurdle for me. But like, the positive thing or the green flag that I got from the language was I was having the same language structure. I was having the same alphabets in my country, so it was easy for me to learn. Okay, but it was really hard for me to speak. But eventually, when you are speaking a different language, you need a lot of practice. Then only then you can be a better or fluent in a language and stuff. So, somehow, somewhat, I mean, I had a difficulty, but I overcame it because of my friends there and the people I've been like teaching, and the adults that I've been teaching, like a symbiosis relationship that I had with my students. I'm teaching them English and they're teaching me Arabic. So that's how I overcame the language barrier and the stuff.
You just mentioned your teaching students and your relationship with the adults in your project. So let's get to your internship, the initial reason why you came to Egypt.
Yeah.
But before we talk about your teaching internship in Egypt, what is your background? So what are you doing in Pakistan? What is your profession, and what are you practicing?
Okay. So basically, I'm a pediatrician. Okay. And I've been practicing medicine. Okay. I'm a doctor. And on the sideways, okay, I did my master's in English. Okay. I'm teaching kids. And basically, kids mean adults. Okay. Sorry for that. I'm teaching adults here with the TOEFL stuff. Okay. I'm basically teaching them language.
So the TOEFL, the big English test people can
Yes.
take to get into university, for example, and these type of things.
Yeah, so basically, I teach this. I make the students prepare how they exactly have to do this and how they have to cope up with the difficulties that they're going to face in the test, and what do they have to learn, how do they have to speak, because TOEFL is basically comprehensive, It's not that all like speaking and stuff. So this is how, I do in my country, and I dealt with people, and this was the basic reason that I optioned for a teaching program in Egypt.
So you went on a global talent project, which are professional internships we offer with Isaac, and you went to Egypt to a school to teach English, right, for 7 months.
Yes, exactly.
Explain us a little bit what your project was about, and what did a typical day look for you, and what was your responsibility in the school.
Okay, basically, I was optioned for teaching English to the children who are from the age of 2 till 5. Okay,
Oh, that's
so
very young.
yeah, that's super young. And I basically optioned it because being a practitioner, as I told you, I was of the view that it's easy to manage the babies. Okay, it's easy to manage the kids because you have to just give them a treat and they're going to learn and they're going to be with you and they're going to have a trust in you, and so they're going to listen to you. These were all my false predictions that I got to know when I went there, and when I started to teach them, it was really hell of a tough job because you are dealing with the kids. They don't even listen to you, and you have to, brag about some stuff. You cannot even yell at them. You have to be patient and you have to listen to them so that they can listen to you. You have to make them trust you. Only then they can listen to you. So my basically job was to teach them English because they're not native, okay? So they don't know the language, but they knew the basics of English. So this is how, I can cope up with them and I can teach them what I have to teach and what I was being asked for and stuff. So my motive at that time was to make the students or make the kids indulge and have trust in me so that I can make them listen and make them learn what they are here for and what I've been like there for and what I've been asked for.
How did you develop professional skills working with kids, and what did you take back? What type of skills and qualities did you take back to Pakistan?
Okay, the qualities that like the professional qualities or the skills that I developed during my stay there with the communication skills. As I told you, it was a symbiosis relationship, and the visualization. Okay. And the stress that I used to get. I had, I was dealing, I really had a hard time dealing with the stress because the kids were, like yelling and crying, and you have to make them stop crying, you have to calm them down, and you have to make them happy. So first month was like, I have to deal with a lot of stress, and I did not know how to manage it. So the stress management was a thing that I developed professionally. And then the teamwork of the organization, okay, it helped me the most in developing skills. And adaptability, when I was planning the adaptability, these were the professional qualities that I developed, okay. And the thing that I took from this internship back into my country was being positive. Like, this project
Mm.
helped me a lot in staying positive, okay. Like, I am more positive in a day to a day and in general perception, okay, and I'm more positive for it. Like, it helped me grow in two qualities I specifically believe where I was lacking. One was patience, and other was like, taking care of myself entirely, as I told you that before already. So this project like has made me a much more patient person, a calm person, and a mature person. I can now listen and relate to people and to listen to their stories and listen to them, Before I wasn't at all like this. I was like, okay, okay, come to the point, come to the point, come to the point. But after dealing with the kids, kids demand to be heard. They demand to have a love language, okay? You cannot, ask the kids to, okay, just be quiet, let me just get to the point, or just be quiet, whatsoever you want, I will give it to you. No, this is not how it works. This project helped me a lot. This project helped me endorse a lot of qualities and it helped me in building my own character with my students, identifying myself as a role model,
How did this internship help you grow as a leader then?
by empowering me in, like, I was empowering the students and leadership. The most important thing that I developed was empowering, as I told you that before. So leadership was like, as I told you, when the students are listening to you and when the people are listening to you, they are considering you as a leader, okay. So overcoming the initial outsider feelings and the barriers, I realized that I could help people in ways other than English. I could empower their minds with experiences that I have, the changes that I've been through, the world, and it's a million views that they just do not ever need to be narrow minded. You know, I empowered my students during like this TOEFL thing, as I told you that before, back in my country. And then the people that I met in the global village. There was a global village on 9th of February in Egypt.
So global village is just for the audience. A global village is a thing you do when you go on an ISAC experience. So all the interns and volunteers come together at the beginning of their experience and share something of their culture at home, right?
Yeah, basically, it was not something, it was a lot. It was a lot.
Yeah.
Very, yeah. Sorry, so, like, I'm just elaborating your stuff. Um, so they are depicting their culture, they are depicting their society, and they are depicting what they have learned and what the problems they have. So we are getting along from different countries, and we are sharing our experiences. And it's this interaction, okay, this eye to eye interaction that gives you a lot of courage of being confident. That gives you a lot of courage of being empowered. Okay, it's not like when you are getting along in the global village and you are just like sharing your experience with the job stuff. No, you share a lot of stuff. You share your culture, you share your personal life, you share your experience, you share your difficulties. It gives you a lot more confidence that at least someone is listening to you. It gives you a backup.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's incredible once you really meet cultures and you hear directly from people instead of just the media. Um, Aksa, to end this podcast, I have one last question for you. Can you summarize how this experience, this internship, the 7 month internship in Egypt, made you feel in one sentence?
It was incredible, beyond incredible.
Nice. It was incredible beyond incredible. I love this. I love this sentence. Well, thank you so much for taking the time today, Aksa, to share your experience, share your learnings, and how this experience in Egypt shaped you as a person and your professional life back in Pakistan.
Okay, thank you so
I
much
wish you all the best.
again for having me on board and letting people hear about my experience and letting me on board for like people listening to what I've got. And it was really honorable for me. It was really an honor for me, like sharing my experience with you. Thank you so much for that too.
I'm very glad. Well, thank you very much and bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you for listening to the whole episode. I hope you were able to take something out of it. If you're curious what an Isaac experience could look like for you, make sure to contact your local Isaac office or just sign up on isaac.org and let them get in touch with you. As always, if you have any questions or if you want to share some feedback with me or other thoughts, make sure to get in contact with me. As always, you can find all links in the show notes. If you like this podcast, please rate it and share it with your friends and family. That would mean a lot to me. Until then, have a great day and talk to you next episode.